Welcome to another in the series, The Soup and the Chat. Welcome to another in the series, Soup and the Chat, place where we talk about issues of life, how to empower our viewers to become the better side of themselves, just managing everyday issues. And today is no exception. And I have with me a very, very, very special guest, one who is a mother, a wife, entrepreneur, chief accountant, financial manager, and personal advisor. Such a woman with a wealth of experience in the financial sector. And most importantly, she is here with us this afternoon because it is that season known as the Christmas season, oftentimes referred to as well as the silly season. But we're going to talk a little bit about how to manage your resources in this season. But before we get to that, I want to officially welcome Mrs. Cranston to the set today. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Doc. Thanks for having me.
How are you doing?
I'm doing well.
All right. Well, we're going to have a good time today because I've over the years, I've watched you, and I must commend you that one of the things that when Sip and Chat started was that we wanted to identify who we refer to as unsung heroes. A lot of people in our society who contribute to the development and growth of other persons, but they may not be recognized by the external society in terms of, some of these, but we know their worth. And I think that you are one of those persons who have really, influenced young people, adults, and so I really, really want to say to you that you have done an excellent, excellent job, and to say thank you.
Thank you too.
Tell us a little bit about who is Gillian Cranston.
Oh, where do I start?
Mm-hmm.
Gillian is, in the early days,
Mm-hmm.
I would say Gillian is a shy person.
Shy.
Yes. That is no longer the adjective I would use.
Mm-hmm.
Now I say Gillian is a people person.
Mm-hmm.
Gillian is a person with the ministry of help. That's what the Lord has given me outside of the accounting that persons like to give me to do.
Right.
Meaning
she's as certified as you can get, right?
Right. But I really like to help persons. I think that's at the core of who I am. A family person oriented. Once I make a friend, it's typically a friend for life.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I would also say that I'm a genuine person.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't have time for the fake. I don't have time for the fluff.
Mm-hmm.
This is Jilly. This is who you will get.
Right.
In the workplace, at home, at church, Jilly, all the time.
Excellent. And one of the things I want to talk to you, Julie, you raised this issue that I think it's so important. The ministry of help, and it doesn't necessarily have to be church, like to be saying ministry, but just someone who thinks about others outside of himself. In today's society, we find that, would you agree, or that that's something that's lacking?
No, I agree. I definitely agree. I think that the spirit of volunteerism is really gone.
Mm-hmm.
And today, even though you may see acts of kindness in social media, it is for an end. It's a means to an end. People are doing it to get likes, to get funds, to get all kind of things that they can get, whether from Facebook or TikTok or
right.
Those platforms. And so sometimes you have to weigh, okay, why somebody giving me this? Are they genuine? Did they see the need for help and are genuinely helping, or they're doing it just to get recognition, right? So from my standpoint, I don't really think that people are out there trying to help like how we know people used to help in the past.
I know you come from very humble beginnings, Gillian. Grew up in the community of De La Vega City at a time when, Shutterbus, right? At that time when Shutterbus. But so talk to us. I mean, how were you able to maintain focus in a community, just like I grew up in as well, where there are moments of instability? How did you maintain your focus? And has your humble beginnings and your nurturing, how that has impacted you as an adult now?
Oh, very interested, loaded question.
That's a question.
Yeah, so I was in Della up until the age of 12.
Mm-hmm.
When I passed for common entrance, then they started boarding me out. But I think that I was in a little cocoon. So
Mm-hmm.
a lot of the things I was sheltered from. So
Mm-hmm.
I tell people even today, like I have never seen one of those guys that they would say is a gunman
Mm-hmm.
with a gun.
Mm-hmm.
I was that sheltered.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was boarded out, it wasn't any of those great boarding places like in Kingston. I mean, I was boarded out one time at a home on Nugent Street,
Okay.
and then King Street, and in some. So I was really moving around
Around in the
during
same.
my high school years,
Okay.
and I feel like I had a very simplistic life. When I look back, I don't think growing up I was able to differentiate what was poverty from who was
Right.
rich. I
And
didn't.
I
It
find
was
that
not a language
so
that
right.
I knew.
I find that so interesting, Gillian. It's something that I really want to just spend a little time talking about because no, it's like there's this distinction between the rich and the poor. And even though there are so many things when you look back that you didn't have,
Yeah.
I mean, I tell people all the time that some people say that if you eat something all the time, you don't like it. But my son will tell you, right? Because he always laugh at it that I can have porridge any time of the day. And when I was growing up, we basically knew that I had every porridge you could think of, rice, bulgur, and none of them has any negative effect in terms of I don't like them anymore. So I find it strange that I think it's more a today thing where people are more seeing the straight demarcation. We knew we were not rich, but we didn't feel embarrassed to be poor.
No, no, I didn't. And even in my high school years, like the kids around me that really didn't have it. You have some kids that came to school without
Mm-hmm.
lunch. And for me, that was even a moment for me to minister. And I wasn't even saved yet.
Right, right.
Because there is no way I am sitting down to have lunch and my friend don't have any lunch.
Right,
It
right,
is
right.
going to share. And we will all share lunch until my lunch money run out for the month.
And that's kind of like I think it goes back even as we speak, Julie, to the whole concept of the community. You know what I'm saying? My friend was part of my world. The people around me, if they were happy, I was happy. If they were sad, I was sad, you know? And it was never about hyping as we use in the culture to say that I was hyping or I was, carrying on above somebody who didn't have anything. Now, one of the things that I want to talk about as well, Julie, are some of the people who impact, because you are a very, very grounded person, and I really admire that about you. Your values are very, I mean, you know what you want, you know what you're going to do and what you're not going to do. Who are some of the people who have been very impactful? Because you are boarding all over, your mom wasn't here, right? So who are some of the persons that were impactful in helping to carve out this precious woman?
Great. I had a classmate in San Diego.
Big up San Diego.
Yes, Simone Cox. Well, she led me to the Lord.
Mhm.
She's now a registered nurse in Canada.
Okay.
So she was very instrumental in, me getting into the church. And I believe that once I came to church, I went to church when I was 17.
Okay.
And of course, I was a young mother. I
Mhm.
graduated with a whole lot of stuff, right? I was very bright.
It's subjects.
Yes, so I graduated with my certificate, I graduated with my subjects, and I also graduated with a baby.
Okay.
Right.
Very interesting.
It was a very interesting time, and that was really due to lack of supervision and so forth. Things happen, and you
Right.
have a young child. But coming into the church, I would say that I got a lot of leadership. My pastor took me on like a dad, and so here you have somebody guiding your father figure guiding you. His wife, Pastor Edwards, was also strong in my life. And when you came along, of course, you jump in, you're head of the youth department, and I see the path that you took with young persons. So your path allowed so many persons to get a job, right? Persons who weren't thinking about going back to school. So you were also instrumental in my development. My sister, not blood sister, but my sister Karen Powell, you see the word shy I started with? She rubbed it out of me to the
Okay.
point where she said, no, you get too crass now.
So you migrate from being shy.
Migrate from shy to, I said, no, you have to rub down a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
right? So she was very instrumental in helping me get back on the educational path
Right.
to pursue.
And she's like that as well, dean
Right.
of the Bible school.
Yes. So
Yeah.
when I look at you too in the church, I see where she helped so many persons along the educational line,
Mm-hmm.
and you assisted so many persons along the work line.
Mm-hmm.
Another lady that was very instrumental was Sister Fenice McLean.
Oh, right.
She migrated, but she paved the way for me with a job.
Mm-hmm.
That job changed my life.
Okay.
And so these are really the pillars. And I don't want to exclude my husband,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because in terms of when I started doing my bachelor's,
Mm-hmm.
right, he would have kept the kids in the evening while I went to school every evening.
Big ups, right.
That I recognize that sacrifice on his part.
That's very good, Julie, because a lot of men sometimes feel very intimidated as women pursue, a higher education. So it's very good when you have a partner who says, listen, babes, if this is what you want to do, I'm here to support you, and I will nurture the dream by doing what I have to do on this side. So kudos to Mr. Cranston. Big shout out.
I don't want to end just with the church family and the personal family, right? There were also persons at the workplace,
okay,
that really guided me. So I got, mentorship from my old boss, Charmaine Walker, Deborah Watson. They were very integral in ensuring that from an accounting perspective, that I learn it, I abide by the standards, and the work that I produce is quality.
Mm-hmm.
So those are really the persons.
And that's so good, because indeed you are a sought after accountant, and that's really commendable. So as we go into this season now, Jilly, one of the things that people are concerned about is that they don't have enough money. Or they don't have any money. Everybody, they don't have any money, and the things are whatever. But we see a lot of people shopping. I don't know if it's magic. But talk to us about, as we are in the season now, because we're already in December. Talk to us about, how do we approach acquiring things in the Christmas? What are some of the things that need to be guiding our thoughts? Is it just me need this, or me have to buy this? What is it supposed to be the guiding thought principle?
Well, I think people just need to ensure that just sit down a while,
Mm-hmm.
temper
After get the bonus.
No, temper it down. we don't even get the bonus yet, right?
Uh-huh.
Just temper it down and get a paper.
Mm-hmm.
We shouldn't be afraid to write.
Mm-hmm.
Prepare a list, wants and needs,
Mhm.
right? Why do you think you need this, right? Persons are asking you for stuff. They're asking you for all kind of name brand stuff. Remember, other persons are not guiding your finances,
Mm-hmm.
right? At the end of the day, you will have to answer for all of your expenditure,
Right.
But when we get to this season, what is going to beat a lot of persons is, did I plan?
Mm-hmm.
Did I plan for this season?
Was this on the list?
Right, because if you fail to plan,
Plan to fail.
right? But I know a lot of persons are planning to probably go get a loan. Can you imagine you're planning to go and borrow money to spend, to give away,
Oh Lord.
right? Or borrow money to cook, to eat, and
Yes.
right? But at the end of it, you're not going to have a loan with interest rates
Right.
and headache come January morning.
And I think that's what gets other people to, because some people, they don't understand the interest rate. So for our audience who is listening, because this is a very important thing, Gillian, I know that you're very competent. If I have the money to buy something at the value, the existing value, and there's an option to buy on a higher purchase, what should I do? Should I say, whoa, I can pay $10 now and take my time go?
Absolutely not.
Mhm.
If you have the cash to buy the thing, and the thing is an item of need, you purchase it cash.
Mhm.
Because remember, higher purchase is for the benefit of the lender,
Mhm.
right? And that high interest rate is built into what they call their risk. It's a risk that you will not repay the loan. That is why the rate is so high. And typically, sometimes you don't plan to, but because the higher purchase period is so long,
Mhm.
some people develop amnesia after 3 months.
Mhm.
They don't remember. They get the settee. They sit down in it every night watching TV. But by the fourth month, they don't remember that they owe for the settee,
Right, right,
right?
right.
So I'm not knocking higher purchase.
Because
I've
sometimes they
purchased
need
before
a
on
little
higher
buffer,
purchase,
right?
right? And so if you don't have the cash flow and it's a need and you have to do it, then go ahead. But you have to remember that you owe. And also you may start out on a higher purchase plan because right now your cash flow cannot allow for you to purchase it cash.
Right.
But if things change for you for the better and you can pay it out earlier, you're not going to pay the entire amount that is in the contract. They're going to give you what is the cash payout value now, which is far less than if you had gone the entire tenor.
Right. I think one of the things too, I really want to tap into your knowledge. So one of the things I think people do though, as you mentioned about just borrowing because it's the whole matter of the credit card. And we know that credit cards are excellent, but what are some of the wise tips when using the card? Because some people say it's not their money. They're not using their money.
Yes, and that is why a lot of persons after they run it up, they don't look back because they really didn't think of it as their money. Right? But remember, credit card interest rates are among the highest interest rates in the country. So just imagine maxing a card that you're not paying, or you're choosing to pay the minimum payment.
Right.
If you pay the minimum payment, you're looking at paying 48 to 52% interest for the year, right? So if you had a card with 300,000 and you run it up, by the end of the year, you owe 450,000, right? So you have to consider things like that. So not because they're going to offer you X as the limit, you can say to the bank, no, this is the limit that I want. This is what I can manage. So if I, spend $50,000 for the month, I can pay back 50. That's how the rich persons do it. They use other person's money. Their money is in investment, but by the time the money matures, the card is due. They pay the card in full. The bank is not going to get any interest from them. The bank is getting
Smart
interest
people,
from
right.
the poorer persons. They're not getting it from the rich person.
Right, right.
So the poor persons are really fueling the financial institutions, and the rich are using it to invest because they are using their money to invest and grow their wealth.
Wow. And it's really, we have to, I think knowledge is so important. A lot of people shy away from just having a personal advisor, which I think you are to me, based on your wealth of knowledge. But I think it's so important though, because a lot of people think that they distinguish a little between need and want. Because like this Christmas coming up now, some people have 7 pairs of shoes already, but them just is because it's Christmas. Them need to get another pair.
I just want to distinguish for our viewers, right? I know my friend right here. I like to say that I'm a financial advisor. In the true sense of Jamaica, I'm not a financial advisor.
She's mine.
I'm not licensed by the FSC, right? But we will share tidbits.
Right.
Right. Remind me of the question.
So what we're saying is that how we do help to differentiate needs and wants?
Okay, so when we're growing up, we hear that our basic needs are shelter, clothing, and food. Right?
I know they say air.
Okay. So somebody can come to you and say that they need shoes, right? Okay. But when somebody's going to come and tell you that they need Jordan, they need Nike, then that's a different thing now, right? So now you have this wish list for Christmas. You have to now determine if you are willing to spend 20,000 or 100,000 on one gift item when you can probably get another pair of shoes for 10,000, right? So is it a need, or is it just somebody who wants to be able to go out there and say, oh, I am wearing a name brand?
And I find it so funny, Jilly, because a lot of times I know that persons are aware of what you're wearing, but a lot of times you could be wearing a no name and it wouldn't even matter because you still look good. And that is something a lot of people feel so pressured. Like seriously, like somebody gonna take up your shoes. No, seriously. Somebody gonna take up your nice clothing, right? Somebody gonna come deliberately. I know people do it now, but people are so caught up. Oh, I gotta get a Coach. I gotta get a Jimmy. I gotta get this. People are gonna come and look in the back of your clothes to see what you're wearing. I have to give you this joke. I had a shoe, right? When we were just emerging out of our financial situation, and so somebody looked at my shoe and they said, "Are those some Westies?" No, I'll be really honest with you, my viewers. I had no clue at the time what was a Westie. So of course I kind of like, okay, yeah. No, based on who spoke to me about are those some Westies, right? Whatever it was, I don't think it's what I had on, right? So anyway, I didn't provide any more clarity or anything at all. So I decided at the time when when I had a good time, I was going to really examine because prior to that it wasn't important. I was not going to examine what was the label in my shoe. Ladies and gentlemen, I took up my shoe and looked in and I saw the label marked Mutsi Tutsi. Mutsi Tutsi. So here I was with an exact replica of a shoe like the person, and she thought I had on a Westie. And as far as we're concerned, my Mutsi was a
A
Westie.
Western.
I just want to really say it's so important that sometimes we, even in this Christmas season, we go out of our way to do things, and then, as you rightfully say, end up in serious
Yeah.
situations, right? And just tell us about some of the creative way we can gift people, for example, instead of always thinking that it has to be expensive,
Mhm.
right?
Whatever you're giving somebody, you just need, it's a thought that goes into it.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that the person that's receiving it also need to pray and have that heart to receive, right?
Right.
Because there are some stuff that you can actually make,
Mm-hmm.
right, for the person. There are items in your house you can re-gift,
Mm-hmm.
right?
And it's not a sin,
No.
because a lot of people have something sometimes that people give them, and
So
they
new,
know,
then you've never used it.
right?
So when you
And
just
you were
listen to
just polite
person,
to accept it, right? So you know that probably they give you somebody give you a nice pearls, but pearls is not your thing.
Mhm.
If it's once it's in, you can re-gift,
Re-gift
and to
it.
that person they'll be like, I always
Mhm.
wanted a pearl necklace. You know what I'm saying?
And it's the effort that you put into it. So maybe the wrapping, you spend the time to get the gift paper, the bag, and just how you present it to them. To you don't just see them and say, right? They just feel like, okay, it's an
Right,
afterthought, or you really didn't want to give it to them any at all,
right?
right? And it's really how you give people, or you give the gift to them. How you make them feel. Sometimes it's not even what you do.
Right,
It's
right,
really
right.
how you make people feel
Mhm.
at the end of it. That is really what they're going to remember.
But what should be key in this season as we think about the holiday? What are some of the key things for you as a busy person, but they're just at the forefront of your mind,
Well, in my family, they're key on me cooking,
right?
right? So for me, in terms of cooking, I like to prepare,
Mm-hmm.
right? So when I'm gonna do ham, ham is done based on the weight and all of these things.
Okay.
So you don't have to. It's over a year. It took time for me to learn, right? So my ham can be cooking while we're sleeping,
Oh, okay.
and by the time you wake up, it's time for that final prep, and you prep the other things, and so you're able to sit together with the family.
Right.
Another thing that persons can do, don't leave the pressure on one person.
Right.
Just
Just share up.
share up the work, or if persons are coming, everybody can come with something,
Right.
so
right.
that the one person or two person is not burnt out, and you're sitting around the table, you feel miserable.
Right.
That's where you find that even at Christmas dinners and stuff, you find arguments because persons, you're stressed, they're frustrated,
Hey,
right?
Karen,
And this is supposed to be such a joyful time.
hey, Karen, remember when you put something because
Exactly. And
I'm
kids,
laughing so much because I remember I had a fire opener, something to light the stove, and I guess I was rushing so much because it was dinner time. We just couldn't find it. I'd put it in some water because I was trying to clear off the area where those lighter things.
yeah,
I used to light the stove, but I think it's so important, though, really, Julie, as you said, everybody can do something, and I think when everybody contributes to that Christmas meal, simple maybe your son could, fold the napkins, or your daughter, and somebody can do the drink or so on. And maybe even sometimes they just want to do a meal, carry the ice, or, they want to be the one to help to serve the guests or so on. So I think it's very important to get everybody involved.
And as it comes to giving, right, the gifts, if you find yourself in a large family, right, and that gets very tricky when you have to give gift to, so you don't have to do a gift. What they can do is what they call white elephant, right?
Interesting. What's that?
And you exchange names, so everybody pick. So now you end up just buying one gift.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, everybody gets a gift,
Get something.
right? And some family, because children are not working, they will give the children and so forth. But I mean, you can do things like that. You can plan throughout the year. You don't have to wait until Christmas and then you're bombarded with all of these things. Right? Like me, I think I'm one of the few women on this earth
Mm-hmm.
that don't like to shop. If you want me to cry,
Oh, okay.
tell me that we're
I was
going
going to
to.
ask if you have a constant temperature.
I don't like to shop.
You don't?
No,
Oh
I
my
don't.
goodness.
I don't. Like you've lost me like after an hour,
Okay.
right?
Julie,
So,
I can go for hours.
oh,
I really
absolutely
can.
not. I will not be
Right.
going with you.
I think I can have my other friend Karen
Yes,
or Polly,
Karen and Pauline will go with.
Crystal or Debbie or Mitzi, one of them. Right. But I think it's such an important discussion though that we have a chance to embrace that it's a holiday season and we don't want to get so caught up in the doing this and the doing that, but more so embracing the very core of why we are celebrating this holiday. We're not even keen on if it was December just was born, but since this time of the year has been singled out as the birth of Jesus, we want to just really come together with our families and give him praise and thanks because it is to him all glory belongs. What is one of your favorite Christmas carols?
Hmm. Oh, Holy Night
Oh, Holy Night, right,
and
right.
the Silent Night.
Silent Night, yes.
And every time I hear the tune to Silent Night, I only hear the words in Spanish.
Oh, really?
For whatever reason, yes.
I think you're strange. Well, I have a few favorites. I'm sure our audience does as well. But the one I like is the one on the first day of Christmas and the goose and the geese and that long storyline going down and
Mhm.
the quarreling Mother Jezebel and I love that
Or
one.
the 21st century version.
Right,
Okay.
21st century version of the first
Day
day
of
of
Christmas.
Christmas. Julie, as a woman of faith, what is something that you want to leave with our audience today as we think about the whole matter of Christmas and one of the things that you think is very important that you want to say to us and you can just let us know.
I think we should at first, just remember the reason for the season. This is a time that we celebrate the birth of Jesus Christ. And we should also remember that at this time, the spirit of Herod is released,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you're going to find, um, a lot of mayhem happening. So you don't want to you have to be careful about what you're saying, what you're doing, because that spirit is really in operation,
Mm-hmm.
right? In terms of planning, just settle yourself. You don't want to make any great expectation and then you become disappointed, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just keep your expectations real. Don't have these weird list of things that you want to do, things that must happen for you to be happy
Mm-hmm.
and all of these. No, stuff will happen. You may be frying the chicken and a two piece get burnt. Move on. I remember getting up one Christmas morning and my son used markers or crayon or whatever it was. He thought nobody in the house knew their ABCs, and so he wrote ABCs on the tile throughout from the living room to the kitchen, right? And this is Christmas morning, right?
Yeah.
I didn't get up. I said, you know what? I'm not even going to quarrel. I didn't even wipe it up. I just head to the kitchen and I start to prepare whatever. There are little things that will come up that will set you off, and you have to determine for yourself that you're not going to let anything get you upset.
Anything or
Anything
anyone.
or anyone to upset you. Because remember, you're staying focused. The reason for the season, we know Christmas is family time. You're expecting family, or
Mhm.
you're going to look for family. So don't go planning to have an argument.
Right.
Maybe there's somebody
Carry
there that
the 1 year vengeance.
the one you're right. No, just sit
Wow.
down and just try to mend the fences. This is really a time to be happy, right? A time for peace and joy on
Yeah.
earth. So we
And as
need
the
to do
song
everything.
says, joy to the world, the Lord has come, let earth receive her king. I'm really happy to have you here, Julie. It's a long time in coming, but I finally have you here. And to all of our guests, We don't want you to X out the Christ out of Christmas. He is the reason for the season. So until next time, thank you so very much, Jilly. We might have a long distance connection because I know you're also having other plans as well. But we just want to tell you thank you so very much for continuing to join us here on Sip and Chat.
Thanks
All
for
right.
having me.